Matthew Moore's Wood Studio. Today is Saturday, February 6th, which means it's time for another weekly shop update. So, what's been going on and where have I been? Well, long story short, I've actually been doing YouTube stuff, just not here in the shop. So what's up with that? Well, I own a company and we have this amazing client and their name is Rheem, and we've been doing work with them for over 10 years. And they know that I do some of this YouTube stuff, and they had some trade shows coming up. We talked, and I went to the International Builder Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. And then the following week, only a couple days later, I flew back out and went to the Orlando show, AHR in Orlando, and I filmed 2 pieces for them. They were kind of like, they weren't necessarily vlogs as much as like show recaps. So there's footage from a couple of days all put together, and that was a lot of fun. So why don't you give them some YouTube love and head over to the channel. I have a link over here and in the description. Subscribe to the Rheem channel, and then I'll have links to both videos over here in the card as well as in the description, so you can check out both of them. One of them I'm in front of the camera as well as behind, and the other one I'm behind the camera the whole time. So we're just having some fun trying some things out. Hopefully, knock on wood, we'll be doing at least 2-3 more of these this year, I hope. So that was a lot of fun. Check out the videos. But it's definitely doing YouTube stuff, just not here in the shop. But I'm back in the shop. I've got the coffee table tape top glued up, and let me walk you through what's been going on. So as you can see here, the tabletop has been glued up. I just finished that today. I actually did all of this today. So I first started with figuring out where I wanted these boards to begin and end. I knew what I want for my length, which is 5 feet. This is actually 5 feet. This will get cut down a little bit shorter when the breadboard ends, get attached to it, but I wanted to have it just a little bit longer than I wanted. So I found out where the 5 feet was for each of these 3 boards. Then I cut off the excess, jointed one edge, and then rough ripped them to a width of just a little bit wider than what I wanted. So the total of the size of the coffee table top will be 5 feet long by, I believe, 26 inches deep. And everything here is just a little bit extra, so I'm a little bit wider than 26 inches, which means I can do a little bit of planing on the ends to get right down to the dimension that I want. Now, once I cut these guys to a rough width, the next thing I did was I skip planed them. Now these boards are too long and there's not enough material, so those 2 factors, length and the amount of material, didn't equal to allow me to joint them and then come around and thickness plane them. Just didn't have enough material for the length of these. So instead I decided to skip plane these. So I skip planed them to 3/4 of an inch thick, and then I rejointed the edges, and I jointed one side out, one side in, one side out, and then one side in. So what that does for me is by varying the face of the piece and how it's sitting against the fence on the jointer, I can cancel out any type of error that may be in my jointer setup. So if the face is out and the next face comes in, when these 2 pieces come together, if there's any angle that I'm off, like 91 degrees instead of 90, that will get cut off, because I'll be cutting this one at, say, 89, this one at 91, and they come together, it'll be nicely flat. So that's what I did here. I made sure that my outs and my ins were going in opposite sides, and I also made sure that the grain direction for these was correct. So this is all flats on. I've got the grain direction if it's coming up, and it's coming down on the next side. So they're both meeting, so that when this piece moves over time, hopefully it'll move pretty much the same along all 3 boards. I also have the boards all running in relatively the same direction for the grain. So there's a little bit of switch change in one spot on a couple of the boards, but for the most part, the grain is all running in the same direction as well. So I'm really ecstatic about this. Now, the other big thing I did here, which is going to be a quick tip, it'll probably end up coming out later this week, which will be talking about these guys right here. So just real fast, I made some clamping cauls. They're out of 2x material. They've got pieces of plywood glued and then brad nailed into them. And the pieces of plywood are purposely placed so that 2 of them are on top of the joint between the boards. And of course there's 2 on each side. And when you clamp these guys down, it helps to keep everything nice and flush. So I've got 5 of them along the length, as well as pieces on either end that are keeping the ends flush. So these guys, again, were skip planed. They weren't perfectly flat, and this is helping getting everything in alignment. Of course, I did a dry fit before. I only made 4, figured out I needed a 5th, made a 5th set, and then glued this guy up. So that's pretty much what's been going on here in the shop. Besides this, Matt Cremona and myself released a brand new episode of the Matt and Matthew Show. So we did another episode with Milton Swan. 2 were shot at the same time. The second one is a shop tour in his shop. I am pretty much behind the camera the entire time. I'm in the front of the camera for maybe about 30 seconds at the beginning, and that's it. But it's not about us, it's about our guests. And it was great spending 2 episodes with Milton. For us, obviously it was one night, but spending that time with him was great, and we really hope that you guys are liking these episodes. So I'm really looking forward to finishing up this tabletop and the inlay and the breadboard ends, the ebony splines, and getting this project completed, because I am really looking forward to pulling out this walnut in the back and getting started on this Nakashima inspired dining table. So as always, please subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're watching this on Facebook, hit the like button, share it in your timeline, and head over to the Wood Studio page and like us there as well. Head over to mmwoodstudio.com to check out all of our great classes, and as always, have a great week in the shop.